So today's day 113, and as you can see, I am back in the Yukon. It's a massive contrast to where I have been. I just arrived. I pretty much just got off the plane. So what I wanted to talk about today was the way in which we get affected by other people and how often we really don't even know that we're being affected by other people, like on a really strong level, a really tangible level. And whilst I was in Australia, I was learning a lot about codependency. And so often what can happen to me is that I'm around somebody and I completely lose myself in them. My whole body is completely affected by them. My mental state is affected by them. My body gets kind of electrified, and I'll feel different energies in my body that aren't actually my energies. So just coming back to the Yukon and being around somebody who I haven't been with for a long time and just feeling their energy and really getting kind of wrapped up in their energy really allowed me to see on a very, very deep level, profound level, how I get so affected by other people's energy. And then what happens is I completely lose contact with my whole self that is in my power and my strength and my focus and my clarity. And then I get completely swayed off course. So it's a very kind of profound thing when we can really start understanding how we get affected by people and start coming back into ourselves and back into our own power and practicing being in the presence of other people without being completely affected and swayed by them. So often we can be influenced by somebody when they're in our presence, and then we kind of forget where we are emotionally or what we wish to express or how we wish to be in the world, and we can just kind of get wrapped up in how they're doing things. But if we can practice consciously to come back into our own bodies and into our own power and then bring to the world us instead of bringing to the world them through us, we can be in a much more empowered place. We can have more empowered relationships. We can have more empowered conversations, and we won't get kind of messed around and tossed around so easily emotionally, and we can be more emotionally stable. So it's definitely a process, of course, because when we don't even know that we're doing it, we have to understand and realize and come to really experience ourselves doing it. And then we have to practice kind of not doing it and coming back to ourselves when we are in those situations. So codependency is just such an interesting subject, and there's so much going on there. When we completely lose ourselves in somebody else, that becomes a very codependent relationship, and it's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for the other person. Nobody really benefits all that much from it. And a lot of the time, we can be in the presence of really strong people, and I'm one of those people. I'm definitely a really strong person. And when we are in the presence of really strong people, it can be really easy for us to just kind of be taken over by them. And they don't necessarily know they're doing that. They don't necessarily go out and want to take over everybody. They're just kind of really strong people. And so they can give us a chance to practice coming back to ourselves. And whenever we meet those people, whenever we're in the presence of those people, we can be like, okay, self-check, where am I? Am I in my own body, or am I just totally enveloped in everything that they're doing, saying, and feeling? Am I completely just in their body, or am I embodying myself and who I am? And have I come back to myself? And do I know who I am in this moment? It's a really important thing to take notice of and to pay attention to, because when we're around people who don't have our best interests in mind and are manipulating us emotionally, and if we're not fully in our presence and fully in our body and in our power and really embodying us as a human being, then we will just get tossed around by them, and it will hurt us. So this is a really important practice to remember, to come back to ourselves and see what's happening when we're in the presence of other people. And also, on the other hand, see if we're trying to project all our energy over other people, if we're trying to dominate other people, if we're trying to make other people feel what we want them to feel, and all of that kind of thing. Are we staying in our own hula hoop? It's a really cool saying that they have in AA. It's stay in your own hula hoop, and I love that. I think that's such a great saying, because often we can find ourselves just wanting to go into other people's hula hoops and control their hula hoops, and that's not good for anybody. So if we can kind of stay in our own hula hoop and really understand what it's like to be in our own space, and then walk into the world knowing what it's like to be in our own space, and pay attention to how we actually get swayed and how we actually get tossed here and there by different people. So that is day 113. I'm back in the Yukon. If you would like to help me to get to 100 subscribers, I would be so grateful.